I'm on a mission today because I want to see whether it's possible to transform a car with a £50 budget. But instead of shopping online, I've decided that I'm going to hit the high street and try and find some hidden bargains at a shop called The Range. Not only are we going to attempt to transform this car with our very limited budget, but we're also going to see whether it's possible to find a better deal online.
Before I head to the shops, I've come up with a wish list of items that I'm going to need if I want to get the best possible finish on the car. But at the same time, I need to be realistic, so my first port of call will be finding some good products for the exterior. If I have any money left over, then I can move on to the interior.
I'm really looking forward to this video today because The Range does so many random car cleaning products, but then they also do some essential items down the DIY aisle. Oh, whilst we're on the subject of essential items, today I'm testing out my new dash cam, which is the A329S from Viofo.
This is no ordinary dash cam. It's a full 3-channel system, and these driving shots you're seeing are actually being filmed by the Viofo. Thanks to its 3 Sony Starvis 2 image sensor, it's capturing crystal clear 4K footage in the front and 2K in the cabin and the rear.
I installed it yesterday. It's really easy, even for me. I just connected it up to the 12-volt outlet and then I hid the cables behind and it looks like it's been fitted from factory. Whether it's somebody cutting up in front of you or even behind you, this dash cam will capture everything. And thanks to its 3 HDR cameras, you're going to be able to balance out the bright and dark spots, meaning you should be able to capture number plates, even in poor visibility.
During those nighttime drives, you get to experience low light performance inside and outside the vehicle.
This is something I could have done with last year because I was in a supermarket car park, somebody had scuffed the front of my bumper, and if I had something like a Viofo dash cam, I would have caught the perpetrator.
Thankfully, in the event of it happening now, even if you're parked up, this has a low impact detection. So if somebody was to bump into you, it will start recording within 2 seconds of impact. Viofo also has a hybrid parking mode, so you can set it to record with a cutoff. So if you need to do a bit of shopping for 1 hour, it will record that entire hour with a low bitrate, and this will reduce the drain on your car's battery.
If you want to see the full potential of this incredible dash cam, then don't forget to check out the link in the description below.
With Christmas being less than 100 days away, The Range was getting the next batch of plastic landfill on the shelves, ready for the tidal wave of panicked buyers who couldn't resist a bargain. Meanwhile, back on planet Earth, I was on the hunt for my car cleaning bits, and I came across a little more than I expected. In fact, there was so much to choose from, and I was feeling confident I'd be able to get enough supplies for the challenge. As soon as me and my wife finished our fight over a wheel brush, I headed back to the unit. I've done well. I've got just a few items, and I can honestly say I think I've done a lot better than I originally expected. And I'll tell you why at the end of the video, but right now I want to get everything out and I want to show you what I've been spending my money on. So we've got lots to get through, and I just want to quickly whiz through all the different chemicals that we have, and then during the actual cleaning stage I'm going to be going a bit more in depth. So first of all, we got a non-acidic wheel cleaner, we have a pre-wash, a bird poo remover, a snow foam, a wash and wax, a quick detailer, a glass cleaner, tyre polish, also known as tyre dressing, fabric and upholstery cleaner, and last but not least, dashboard/interior cleaner. Anyway, moving on to the accessories, I had to go and get myself another pump sprayer because my Aldi one sadly broke the other day, which means I got it for about 2.5, 3 months maybe, not even that, and it just died. Everything, the pump bit came out and it just wouldn't go back in, and every time you're pumping it, nothing was happening, it wasn't pressurizing. So I've got another one. It does look very similar though, but I paid £12.99 for that, and the Aldi one I paid £7 for, so I'm hoping this is going to be slightly better. I've also got myself a nice little wheel brush. There's no metal, there's no rust, and there's definitely no risk of any snapping. And do you know what? The fibres feel nice and soft, the sponge inside is nice and soft, and the handle feels quite sturdy too. Might get some good results with this one. I also got plenty of accessories, which I will be testing throughout the video.
So I've got my detailing supplies. All I need to do now is get changed into my old clothes and then show you what car we're about to clean.
This is the Ford Focus ST. It's a bit noisy, a bit peely, and certainly in need of a Dave special. As it happens, this car belongs to my friend and he occasionally cleans it himself, so I was quietly confident I could achieve some good results. My first task was to get everything topped up ready for the clean, and thankfully I had the perfect weather conditions. It was cool and cloudy, so if these chemicals failed, then there will be no excuses. With the foam shaken, not stirred, I could get started with the wheels, and I wanted to start off by trying the Detailing Addicts wheel cleaner. And this is a first for me because it's not something that's ever been on my radar, but they have been around since 2017. Now, many of you may not have heard of this brand either, but I can bet you anything a good percentage probably have used this before under a different name. Although the wheel cleaner was slightly on the watery side, it did manage to remove some of the light dirt on the faces, which was to be expected. However, it wasn't something that would clean up easily with one attempt. For the rear left wheel, I decided to go down a different route of spraying, dwelling and scrubbing without any rinsing before brushing, as it wasn't too dirty. A good way of telling how strong an alkaline cleaner is will be determined by the colour of the tyres, so normally they would turn brown whilst they are dwelling, but this was barely visible. Still, the wheels themselves came up quite well, and I feel for a maintenance clean you would be satisfied, provided they weren't too heavily baked with brake dust. I couldn't resist trying another alternative method, which involved spraying the wheel cleaner, then following up with snow foam just to keep it activated longer. And at least this way you could clearly see the dirt pulling away, so I feel the snow foam was definitely helping. And in my opinion, out of all the methods, this was the most effective. The barrel brush wasn't exactly mind-blowing on these wheels because it simply wasn't long enough to reach the backs of the alloys, and the spokes were tight too. If it was thinner and longer, this could genuinely be a good buy because it was plenty soft enough for delicate wheels, but it just came up short where it counts the most. With the wheels finally cleaned up, I could move on to the pre-wash, and the last time I tried this rapid dirt shifter, I was left underwhelmed by the impact it made. But we have a lighter car today and the weather was perfect, so I knew I could leave it on for the maximum time, but the biggest question is, would it be able to work? I used this everywhere I could, whether it was the door shuts, petrol flap, wheel arches or even the lower third. I was really hoping this would at least shift some of that road film. I don't always do this, but on this occasion I rinsed off the pre-wash first because I needed to see for myself just how much of that road film had actually been removed. Now, before I show you how much of the dirt was removed, I thought I'd take this opportunity to layer up some snow foam because I was pleasantly surprised when I foamed up the wheels just how thick it was. Now, thick isn't always a good thing, by the way, and I reckon I could have diluted this back even more. My plan of action was to go on thick here because I just rinsed the surface after using a rapid dirt shifter, which naturally meant the foam was less likely to cling. But as I kept going, I realised it was becoming more like shaving foam, and the dwell was better than I previously expected. So, would the Gillette for Men be able to clean the car? After rinsing away the foam, I had a close inspection, which revealed the foam and the pre-wash both didn't remove much dirt. But I can't say it was a total fail because ultimately, as long as it breaks down and softens the dirt, then it means the contact wash becomes safer. With the suds, it felt like dissipating foam. It wasn't much in terms of stability, but still I crept on with the wash. It took me a few minutes to realise, but I was doing something wrong, and after going over half of the car with my wash mitt, I realised that I did purchase that orange wash noodle, so I immediately switched over to that. Interestingly enough, as soon as I grabbed the wash noodle, I did notice a slight difference compared to the wash mitt, and I could tell the wash noodle wasn't holding the suds as well. So I don't feel this would replace my wash mitt, but nevertheless I can see it being a big hit for those of you who still use a sponge. As for those paint brushes, they worked brilliantly at getting in the gaps. And one thing I'd recommend if you do go down the route of buying these is to tape up the exposed metal, as the last thing you want to do is catch the paint and cause any scratches. Thankfully, this Ford Focus didn't take long to clean because of the generous amount of cloud coverage. So I gave it one final rinse before breaking out my Fibre King Gold Label towels.
We're going to get back to the video in a moment's time because we got lots of products that we need to get through. But don't forget, after we finish cleaning the Ford Focus, we're going to take a look at how much everything costs so we know where we stand with the challenge. And don't forget, we're going to have a look at some other alternatives that may be cheaper. Right, let's get back to the video. Apologies for the mess. I'm in the process of moving unit next door, so it's a bit chaotic here, but I've still got my products I need to get on this car and we need to get testing. So I've got 5 left down here. I have, let me just grab them now. I'm going to pick them up and do this in one go. So I have a gigantic can of glass cleaner. I've got some quick detailer. I have some tyre dressing. I've got a dashboard cleaner. And then last but not least, I've got a fabric and upholstery cleaner. So before I carry on with anything else on the exterior, I want to start off with the interior, which means I am going to be using these 2 bad boys. I've got the dashboard cleaner and the fabric and upholstery cleaner. So all I really want to use the fabric and upholstery cleaner is, we're not going to be using the fabric and upholstery cleaner because I've just realised he's got leather seats.
I know, I'm an idiot, but in my defence I got caught off guard by the fantastic bargains. But don't worry, because I did see so many other items in the range, so I feel I could easily make a part 2. Anyway, I wanted to carry on with the dashboard cleaner, and despite the fact it was pretty watery, I still liked it. Okay, so it may have had a little help from the scrub pad, but it's a nice scent, it's not messy or sticky, so it's another product that a beginner may just keep as a backup in the boot of the car. Mind you, I wouldn't say this revives the plastic to look new, as there was no real added dressing in this. So it really is something that some of you may just define as a watered down all-purpose cleaner. With the plastics looking tidy, I could then move on to the world's largest can of glass cleaner, and I decided to try out the synthetic leather with my new glass cloth to see if it can get that streak-free finish. I genuinely can't fault the synthetic leather, it worked exactly as you would expect. As a tool to clean your glass, I 100% recommend it.
It's a bit pongy, this glass cleaner. Still, I like the idea that it's in a... I inhaled that. It's in a foam format. It really gets right up your nose. It's horrible. Not the nicest of smells. But I do like this synthetic leather. I'm not really a fan of this glass cloth because it's so thin. And the problem is, because it is quite small and thin, it gets damp very easily. So I'm not even going to make it around the entire exterior glass before this is too wet and it's too far gone, because if you've got a damp rag and you don't get the glass fully dry, all it's going to do is smear and make a horrible mess.
Despite this, I still managed to get crystal clear glass, so the giant can will be good enough to last you for the next 100 years. The next task was to shine up that silver surface. So I broke out the Simoniz Quick Shine Detailer Wax, which is basically a top-up chemical to use in between waxing your car. Think of it as a quick detailer, perfect for adding instant gloss and light protection, not for long-term durability. I didn't really feel much slickness with this. It was kind of a gloopy substance, but it delivered on the promise, being streak-free and leaving no white residue, so I was pleased with the outcome. A part of me would love to know what it's like to use on a hot day on a darker coloured paint, and it's something I will use again, as I noticed Simoniz sell a wide range of car cleaning products, so there's definitely a reason to make another video with everything in their range. The Focus was looking great, but I still had the tyre dressing to get through, and I saw other reviews being a bit on the negative side towards this, and I soon discovered why. Because like all of these products, they had terrible triggers, but this was one of the messiest products I'd ever seen in my life, and it was just spewing out everywhere. It wasn't clinging onto the tyre, and yes, for the first few minutes it did look shiny, and some people may like that, but then all of a sudden, this happened.
This is unbelievable. You can see it literally evaporating right in front of your very eyes. Now, we're in really cool conditions here. The tyre dressing has literally done nothing whatsoever. And it's always going to be wetter at the bottom because it's so watery, it's just running down the tyre. It's not great. Initially, when I sprayed it on for the first few seconds, it looked okay, but now, after giving it a couple of minutes, it's pretty terrible. So now that we got the car clean, I suppose you want to know how much we paid for all these items. Well, let's just brush aside these three for a moment, because we didn't use the upholstery cleaner because I'm an idiot and had a car with leather seats. We didn't need to use a pump sprayer because I couldn't dilute the pre-wash, and there was no need for me to use the bird poo remover. So if we tally everything else up and we include the discounts, because some of these were like 2 for £6 or 2 for £9, we did get some savings there. It works out at £47.41p, so that's well within our £50 price range. The accessories aren't really that bad. I did like the glass cloth, I just felt that I needed more of them if I wanted to get perfect glass. Synthetic leather, again, excellent, the brushes were fine, and the wash noodle was good as well. Now, if I was to walk into any high street store and say I needed to buy myself a car cleaning kit, you're not going to get spoilt for choice here. You've got a few from Halfords and some from Autoglim. I think Autoglim is going to be the best route. Now, if you did want to save even more money online, they got stores like EZ Car Care. They're trending everywhere on TikTok because their kits are so ridiculously cheap. You're looking at like anywhere from £30 to £50 for very big bundles. The only thing is, I can't really comment on it because we've never featured it on the channel, so it might be one for the near future. Now, if you're somebody who loves a bargain, and I'm sure you are, otherwise you wouldn't even be here in the first place, and you haven't seen my latest £12 Temu pressure washer in action, then I really recommend that you go and watch this video right here.